Welcome back to AM Northwest. Father's Day is right around the corner, and if you're looking for a funny gift, we found it. Here to share her new book, There Are Dads Way Worse Than You, we welcome award-winning comedy writer Glenn Boozan. Good to have you with us, Glenn.
Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
You bet. This is hilarious. So let's go to the beginning on how this came to be, because you had a book about moms first, right?
Yes, There Are Moms Way Worse Than You was the original book that this is the brother to.
Yeah. So tell me first about your dad.
My dad is great. So I have the unique experience of back in the 80s when I was born, my dad was actually the stay-at-home dad, and my mom was the breadwinner of the family. So he, back then it was called Mr. Mom, sort of was his title. But nowadays dads are much more involved, and it's, you know, you're proud to say I changed my daughter's diapers or I changed my son's diapers. But my dad was one of the originals back in the day.
Well, and you dedicated the book to him, which I love. And then I think it says, "Thank you for letting me climb trees, watch The Simpsons, and let's top it off, play with matches."
Yes, my dad, he was a fun dad. So I think that's why I became a comedy writer, unfortunately, is because my dad was really funny and cool and let me do things, just let me mess around.
I love it. All right, let's take a look at some of the things you say about dads that are way worse than, let's say, your dad. So tell me about Thanos.
So Thanos is a big old purple guy villain in the Avengers movies, and he, to gain what was called the Soul Stone, pushed his daughter, Gamora, off a cliff. So if you're late to your kid's soccer game, hey, guess what? It's not so bad.
It's not so bad. Did you get any input from anybody on the people to choose to profile in your, you know, Dad's Way Worse Than You?
So I did a bunch of research, and I actually am very lucky that I have a bunch of extremely nerdy friends who I got feedback from. So I sat down with a bunch of my friends for hours and just said, okay, so Thanos in the comics versus him canonically in the movies. And so I got a bunch of nerd research from them, which I was very grateful for.
I love it. I also love Darth Vader. So you got to explain to our audience about Darth Vader.
Well, he's probably the most, he's on the cover, he's probably the most famous one of all. As you can see here, and as I think everybody knows famously, he cut his son's hand off with a lightsaber. So again, you know, if you give your kids too much sugar and they have a hard time going to sleep, it's not a cauterizing lightsaber attack on your flesh and blood.
Right. And then Dr. Frankenstein.
Yes. People don't think of him as a dad first, I think. I think they think of him as a scientist and a creator, but I've always thought of this as a story of bad parenting.
Yeah.
I
agree.
Deadbeat dad.
Yeah, I mean, that one is hilarious. The illustrations are very funny, too.
Thank you. Priscilla Whitty did the illustrations, and she was like an angel sent from heaven to me. I mean, as an author, all you want is to find the perfect illustrator to complement your work to get the right tone. Yeah. And she just totally knows. She's actually a muralist by trade. Originally, this I think was her first or second book she did. She's like flown into Dubai to do like walls for princes, and like she does stuff on subway system. Like, she is so well known, but she and she's just a good person. Yeah. So it was really easy to work with her.
Okay, so tell me now about King Tut's dad.
Okay, so this I had no idea before I started writing the book.
Yeah, this is new to me too. Yeah.
Isn't this interesting? Yeah. So King Tutankhamun was actually not his real name. His name was King Tutankhamun. I don't speak ancient Egyptian. I'm a hard time, but so his dad is famously the least liked pharaoh in history. And so when Tut came to power, he changed his name to disassociate from his dad, because that's how embarrassed he was to be this guy's son. So his name was not King Tutankhamun originally. Isn't that interesting?
It is. And in fact, for the ones that we may not know about, you explain who they are in the back. So there's a little, in case you feel like, and that was the one I was like, I've never heard of this guy. So anyway, that was the one. What do your parents think of these books?
So luckily my parents have a really good sense of humor, so this really hit them in their sweet spot. So because sometimes handing a book to a mom or a dad that goes like, "Hey, there are dads way worse than you." If your dad doesn't have a sense of humor, which I think most dads do.
Yeah,
But
they do.
luckily, luckily they thought it was hilarious. And also when you dedicate a book to someone, they're like, "Oh, well, now it's my favorite book." So it's my dad's favorite book because it's got his name in it.
That's perfect. One last thing, you worked with Conan. Tell me about that experience.
Oh, look at that. Yes, I wrote for Conan, the show, back when it was ending for the last few years. That was just, I mean, if you, I wish I had some salacious drama. He's just the nicest guy.
Yeah. Well, that's how it comes across. He comes across as a really nice guy.
He's kind and he's funnier, even in person, he's funnier than he is on TV. It's frustrating how funny he is.
Yeah. Have you sent your books to him?
Yes, so he did a quote on the back of the first book. So he's read them and he likes them, is what he, at least what he said to my face, is he likes them very much.
What he said to my face. That's funny. Okay. You are hilarious. We want to tell everyone the book again is There Are Dads Way Worse Than You, available now to everywhere books are sold. Glenn, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been a joy.
It's been fun. We'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.